What's going on, everyone? James here with some real news, and DC just wrapped up their panel at San Diego Comic-Con, so you know what that means. Yes, we're recapping everything right here, right now. But before we get into it, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I love talking about movies, TV, and all the news in between. So if you do too, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, tap on the bell, and hit the thumbs up button for more content just like this. Marvel Studios is tonight, which means it's going to be a light one. And hey, if you haven't already, get loud in the comments down below and let me know what you thought of DC's panel, because guys, it's time to dive into everything they just unveiled, and well, it's a lot. So before we dive into even some of the more important nuggets of information, let me just set expectations. This was a short segment for DC. It's a Warner Brothers panel, but they led with DC films, of course, and the one thing you probably wanted to happen didn't happen if you're like a mega DC fan. But let's get started with Black Adam and Shazam, because those were the only two films that were on display. Now, it was really cool to see that there were some badges with the Black Adam lightning bolt that were handed out to guests, and we'll get to why that was in just a couple of seconds. But this looked like the most packed Hall H panel that we've seen so far at San Diego Comic-Con this year. I'd imagine Marvel Studios might be even more packed, but it was nice to see a full room of fans and press. According to Adam Hlavik from Heroes Reforged, he said that Tiffany Smith was moderating the entire DC Warner Brothers panel, and of course they had to kick it off with Shazam Fury of the Gods. Really cool to see Shazam, Zachary Levi and company leading this panel, because you would have thought it would have been the other way around, but I guess it does make a little bit of sense. Ahead of the Hall H panel, Zachary Levi took to social media to let fans know that Shazam 2 was getting a full trailer at the panel.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we're at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. We're about to go into Hall H.
We're back, baby.
And we're about to go drop... Where's David? David, where are you, David? We're about to go drop the Shazam Fury of the Gods trailer all up on you, so stay tuned. Right here, eyes peeled. Love you.
Let's go.
And we did drop a reaction right here on the channel, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. But then it was really nice to see that there was a personalized clip, I guess, that was played before everyone started coming out. According to Discussing Film, they said the Fury of the Gods panel opened with a small clip from the film with Rachel Zegler's character asking, "How did the Shazam family meet?" And Billy says, "Comic-Con." Zegler's character answers, "What's Comic-Con?" Of course, meta dialogue, which they actually had a lot of in the trailer itself too. But it was really dope to get some more info on the actual setting and the timeline for Shazam Fury of the Gods. Discussing Film said that the sequel will be set a few years after the first film, with the Shazam family as established heroes in the DC extended universe. And that does make a lot of sense actually in the trailer, where you see Shazam is kind of struggling with his powers. Billy Batson seems to be more comfortable in his own skin, and the whole family seems to be definitely on the same page. And I like that when the trailer dropped, we were able to get some new looks at the family themselves and at Rachel Zegler's character, whom I don't necessarily know much about, but I'm excited to maybe learn more. And then director David F. Sandberg said about the movie, "It's a sequel now, so we get more money and we spend it all." End quote. That's pretty much how that goes, especially after Shazam did really well at the box office. And then I thought it was nice that Discussing Film reported that the Daughters of Atlas are the villains of Shazam Fury of the Gods. That's Helen Mirren, and that's Lucy Liu, and count me in. Lucy Liu went on to say, and I quote, "To be a part of the DC universe and this world is probably the most exciting thing that's happened in my career. Being here as a woman of color, I feel like I'm in a place where I'm home." It's just really cool to hear Lucy Liu say that, because she's a legend in Hollywood. She deserves big roles all the time, and I can't wait to see her in this movie. And then Zachary Levi was asked about two adversaries, or possible adversaries. He says he has no idea. Next question on the possibility of Shazam fighting Black Adam, and according to Discussing Film, he was also asked about Superman, and he says, and I quote, "I can neither confirm nor deny questions such as these, so no." I don't know, guys, I'm fishy about that. And of course, Zachary Levi was very optimistic about the possibility of Shazam 3, saying, "I hope so. If you guys go and see this one and you like it, there's a good chance that the bosses will make another one." So that's about all for Shazam Fury of the Gods, but oddly enough, sandwiched in between both that and the Black Adam panel, there was this very small bit of information from Teen Titans Go saying that Zack Snyder is going to guest star as himself in Teen Titans Go. Okay, wow, interesting. Well, not much more to comment on that, I guess. Well, moving on to the Black Adam part of this panel, and man, was it an electric entrance for The Rock. And I literally mean that. He made a huge entrance, and the crowd was definitely into it. And of course, if you need a little bit more of a description for what happened within that moment outside of the video you just saw, he says, and I quote, "Hall H, you have been warned. The DC universe will never be the same again." Now, he didn't say the whole hierarchy quote, you know, that meme that's been memed to death, but man, it was so cool to see that even though I wasn't there. You can tell that that crowd was into it. And then discussing film reports that John Collet-Serra says they finished the final cut of Black Adam and they actually showed it to the cast last night. And that's really cool to hear. Honestly, I'd imagine the cast was super stoked. It sounded like Noah Centineo and his co-stars, they were all in on this project, and hopefully that passion bleeds into the final product. According to my friend and fellow critic Zach Pope over on Twitter, a Dirty Harry type of character is the vibe they went for to bring a character in that they might need to break the rules when the system is broken. Well, that's pretty dope. I'll take that, honestly. I like the whole approach where it's not very feel good at first. Let's see this anti-hero become, well, the anti-part of the hero. Okay, I'm gonna move on. So The Rock went on to say, and I quote, "Our goal is to usher in a new era of the DC universe with the Justice Society." So he helps paint a little bit more of a broad stroke of the future for Black Adam if it does well, which I believe it will. And if it's, of course, something that they want to move forward with, I can see the Justice Society being a bigger player in the game for the DCEU moving forward, because as of now, they don't really necessarily have a universe. They have some pretty good standalone films outside of DC proper for the most part. So I'm curious to see if this maybe helps tie the bigger picture together. And according to Griff Schiller, another fellow critic and friend, he went on to say that what attracted Serra to direct was Black Adam's origin story, a slave 5,000 years ago given godlike powers awakened in modern times. He likes movies with morally gray characters, likens it to 70s anti-hero films, and sometimes you just need someone to bring the corrupt system down. So you can start to see where the foundation is for this film and the vision for Jean Collet-Serra. So I'm super curious to see if that actually gets fleshed out and explored a little bit more in the film. And of course, y'all, I was hyped to hear any bit of Aldous Hodge news because I love him and I think that he's going to be great as Hawkman. But he said, according to POC Culture, that he was hyped to play Hawkman, and he calls him the Beast, the Warrior. And he also shared that The Rock called him to tell him that he got the role, and according to Aldous Hodge, he thought it was a prank and told The Rock to F off. And the F doesn't stand for forgive. Sorry, y'all, but that's pretty funny. I mean, you have to imagine Aldous Hodge was pretty psyched to be in this role as well. And for someone who isn't the most familiar with Atom Smasher, it was nice to hear Noah Centineo answer a question about Atom Smasher and Cyclone and Black Adam. He says, and I quote, "In this film, you see two metahumans really figure out what being a superhero is." And y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I don't really feel like that is gonna be a strong part of the movie, but I hope it is. I don't know, something isn't gravitating me towards the whole Atom Smasher Cyclone story. And then before, of course, The Rock drops the trailer, a Comic-Con sneak peek, which again we did drop a reaction for right here on the channel, he got asked about who would win between him and Superman, and his answer was interesting. According to Boris Kitt from The Hollywood Reporter, he said, and I quote, "I guess it all depends on who is playing Superman." Now, isn't that interesting, guys? Of course, there were rumors that Henry Cavill would show up. I guess it started at one outlet, and it was just a rumor, literally, and I guess people took it for fact. But Henry Cavill, guys, I'm sorry, never showed up. Yeah, I didn't expect him to, but people were really hopeful, and I just don't think that he wants to play the role anymore. And I'm not necessarily sure he wants to go through all of that again. You know, he kind of had a bad experience, and I don't blame him. And then, of course, before everything wraps up, discussing film reports that Viola Davis is going to return as Amanda Waller in Black Adam. And hey, isn't that cool? But of course, The Rock, in The Rock fashion, said, "Let me go ahead and be generous and pay it forward." He announced that he's giving everyone at Hall H a free IMAX ticket to watch Black Adam. It was on this pamphlet with the little redeem code in the bottom left or right hand corner. How dope is that, y'all? That is so nice of him and the studio to go ahead and do. So I actually am a little bit more excited about Black Adam after the teaser trailer we got. And when it comes to Shazam Fury of the Gods, I'm already a big fan of the first film, so I was already on board with that movie. But Black Adam, I'm still back and forth on, so we'll see what happens. I still hope it's a good film. I just am not 100% sold on it just yet. But that is actually the entire Hall H presentation for DC films. Warner Brothers went on, of course, to do House of Dragon stuff and whatnot, but that is it for DC, guys. So you had Shazam Fury of the Gods dropping a trailer and some nuggets of information, and Black Adam getting a lion's share of the panel, of course. And in the middle, Zack Snyder is going to be on Teen Titans Go. Okay, But guys, if you enjoyed that recap, and if you are a huge fan of all things DC, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell, y'all, for more content like this. San Diego Comic-Con weekend is almost done, guys. We got Marvel Studios coming up next, and I don't know what to expect. I just want Black Panther 2, baby. Bring it on. And hey, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought of this panel. Let's have a conversation about it. Alrighty, y'all. Well, you know what? That's all I got for DC. So again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you at the next screen.